love caves. Low.
It wasn't a burial cave because you don't see the specific sections, and also Jews, they didn't bury inside the city, forbidden because it's considered impure.
Hello, all these news viewers. I'm Oriel.
I'm Levi from Discover Israel Tours. We're here at the biblical security borderlines between the Philistines and the Judeans at Khirbet Qeiyafa. So we're going to see how the soldiers established themselves to make sure that the Philistines wouldn't come and overflow and try to conquer Jerusalem.
Sounds amazing. Let's go.
Let's do it. When did the Israelites become a united monarchy? When they started paying taxes and they needed security borderlines. We are at one of the most significant sites which can talk about that switch period of time, the Middle Iron Age, 3,000 years ago, 10th century, talking about a period of King David and King Solomon. We're at a site called Khirbet Qeiyafa, known biblically as Sha'araim, the two gates. Now, first of all, let's talk about geographical location of how we know it's here. Beneath us is the Emek Ha'ala, and across from us is Tel Azakah, mentioned in Joshua as the list of places, and also the battle between David and Goliath happens here in the valley, and it's mentioned this city called Sha'araim. Sha'ar in Hebrew is one gate, Sha'araim is two gates, and so we're going to see here how we have two gates. So we have the classic Judean architecture that would have been in that period of time. We have something called a casemate wall, which is two walls, security line around it, which means that this had to be a very secure location. A second element about this city, which we can see in other places, is at the top of the hill. That's not the most strategic place to put a city, but if your number one priority is security, that's where you do it. The third element is this gate that we're standing on at the moment is incredibly consistent with the gates during the same periods of time. We're talking about the Middle Iron Age, 3,000 years ago. All of those elements together tell me it's Sha'araim. Sha'araim, modernly known as Khirbet Qeiyafa, has a radius of 6 acres. We're also on the borderline between the Philistines and the Judeans. Now, how do we know that this city isn't a Philistine city to start with? One of the main evidences that we know that this wasn't a Philistine city is there were no residents of pork bones here. And that was incredibly strict of dietary restrictions back during the times of King David and King Solomon. Jews did not eat pork. That was a big no-no. But what we did find here were altars to specific gods, so on and so forth. We didn't find any images, which was forbidden in the Bible, but we did find standing altars which people had inside of their courtyards. Two great signs to tell me this is a Judean city. Now, I'm strategically located in the Shfela, in Emek Ha'ala, which was the borderline between the Philistines and the Judeans. And the Judeans on this side, we had Azakah, Sha'araim, and these were the cities that were these military compounds. So it makes sense that it wasn't a massive city. It was heavily fortified. It had two gates, and these would have shown us when that shift of becoming a nation of survival, of trying to conquer lands and settle it, and really accumulating into this structured and strategic kingdom, which was the United Kingdom of King David and King Solomon. Can you feel the sun on your face?
I can.
Yeah, are
it's
you
very
hot? Right. So they were hot back then as well. And so they lived kind of above ground and underground for security reasons and also just for practical reasons. So this is a cave just by the entrance of the gate. So, you know, surprise attack, the soldiers would sit here, or, you know, you'd find refuge from the sun. And this is a dwelling cave. So people would live here in Khirbet Qeiyafa.
Okay, so it's a little steep. You have to mind your step. Wow. I love caves. Wow. To mind your head also, because this place is very low. Wow, it's so much cooler. It is very hot outside.
Isn't that lovely?
Woo,
So
lovely.
we can automatically see a drop in the temperature. This wasn't a burial cave because you don't see the specific sections, and also Jews, they didn't bury inside the city, forbidden because it's considered impure. So the Jews were buried outside the city, that's for sure. I can see it's a dwelling cave just because of the way and the sections of the rocks. Not all of it has been dug, but it's definitely a big complex right next to the city gate, so an important structure for sure.
One thing that I always think about these caves is just how much our ancestors, our forefathers, would find themselves in caves like this. And oftentimes they'd be, feeling like I am in the heat and thinking about their lives, or thinking about God, or thinking about their people, and needing guidance and needing direction. Suddenly everything is like, it becomes quiet but also echoey in this cave, and you just have to still yourself before God, just like I'm doing now, and you have to listen to his voice. Listen to his voice for guidance. But think about the Judeans, about how they would have to seek God for guidance about their ways of life and look to him, to his word all the time to give them instructions, directions about how they're supposed to live, what they're supposed to do with the people, how they're supposed to conduct themselves in holiness. Caves have a really special way of bringing you into that mode.
And he tore down all the high pillars in the shrines. This looks like a high pillar to me, and this looks like a pit where they used to throw the bones, doing the cultic practice of worship, whether it was animal sacrifices, it was most likely animal sacrifices, and this is what we'd call a matzeva, an erect upright stone, which would have been lying down and for the glory of God. So inside of these pits, when they were excavated, we didn't find any pig bones, which was one of the signs of this being a Judean place. Some incredible artifacts were actually found here at Qeiyafa. One of the oldest Hebrew scriptures on an ostraca, which is basically writing on a clay pottery piece of ancient Hebrew, or what we'd call Paleo-Hebrew, was found here during the 1st century. So this is an incredibly important site of a border city, a city where we did find the ancient Hebrew writing, and this is just proving the Bible. To walk into it, it has this phenomenal energy. This is one of the 7 biblical fruits that we have. It's the fig tree, and it's appropriate to have it here where we're in a biblical site. And we know that the agriculture which the people ate were part of the 7 biblical species. And here's the fig, which is cool. So the fig tree is ready in August. It's not ready now, but the speciality of figs is that you can make fig cakes that can last 1,000 years. If you dry out the figs and you kind of squish the cakes together. Tremendous ancient engineering. You don't have to go far to see that. All you have to do is come here. This is a 3,000-year-old carved out stone, around 3 meters wide. A phenomenally large stone, which means it's an important place and a secure place. This is the 2nd gate of Khirbet Qeiyafa, or Sha'arayim, hence the name 2 gates. It's peculiar to see historically 2 gates because the gate is the most vulnerable place of the city. It's the easiest place to penetrate the city is the gate. Yet, that's why we had little sections here where guards would have stood or where they would have judged you. And classically during that time, the architecture would have had a gutter coming out of the gate. Now, as we can see over here, there's a little gutter, an aqueduct coming out, just like as we saw the other one. Now, not all the cities had to be the same, but all the cities did in the end be the same. It was kind of like the architectural structure of building knowing that certain period of time. And this is us, guys. This is us. This is the heritage of the Judeans. I'm back here and I can tell you a little bit about it, but the best is if you guys come here yourself and experience it.
Wow, what a place. I want you guys to put yourself in these sandals, if you will, of a Judean back then, as we jump this little line over here on the wall, and think about the lifestyle that you would have lived. There were so many different nations around that time in Israel that to be a Judean meant to be a follower of God from the tribe of Judah. And think about what God promised in his word to the Jewish people, to the Israelites, that he would be with them always in the land that he promised them. And so what kind of strength would you have to actually follow that kind of God that every single nation around them would try to come and take away that promise from them? And yet still, after thousands and thousands of years, that is one thing that all of us still abide by. We still abide by the fact that this is our land. And it's a land that no matter how much someone tries to take it from us, we're not going anywhere. We're gonna climb this olive tree because it's beautiful and amazing, and we're gonna look at the view. I've had a wonderful day. I've loved Khirbet Qeiyafa. It really does teach you so much about Jewish resilience and everything that we went through and everything that we will go through. There's nothing new under the sun, and we will always have enemies coming against us, and we will always build our lives here. Levi, how do you feel about Khirbet Qeiyafa?
I love this site. We could see what they had to go through back there to secure the borders, and we can see what we're going through today to secure the borders. We're continuing a beautiful line of heritage of soldiers who have sacrificed, and the price that we have to pay to do that is very heavy, but it's worth it. It's worth it, and I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to be part of the Jewish people.
It's totally worth it, and we hope that you guys have enjoyed this. If you want more Israel-related content, go to allisraelnews.com, hit the notification bell, hit subscribe, and Levi and I will see you guys in the next one.